Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. It's Kourtney here at Scrapbook-N-Memories, and we are live here with Crafty Hour number 65. I can't believe it. This has been so much fun. I am enjoying all these Crafty Hours, and this one was a blast to play with, guys. Gosh, I'm trying to get more of my mat over here. You know what? Let me just pick it up and move it. There we go. When in doubt, pick it up and move it. So hello, everybody. This is Crafty Hour 65 with Kourtney at Scrapbook-N-Memories. And I hope you guys got to tune in this morning and watch Jennifer's Crafty Hour. She did a really fun fold card, 2 cards, and they were fabulous. And don't forget, if you cannot make it live, you guys can always go get the Crafty Hours on replay. Both Clipper Street and Scrapbook-N-Memories have a YouTube channel. So you can always go over to our YouTube channel and you guys can find those Crafty Hour recordings there. There's Jennifer. Hello. I loved your Crafty Hour today. It was so fun to see those fun fold cards. I got to go back and do that one now. Okay, so everybody's kind of jumping in. But yes, if you missed it this morning, it's at 12 o'clock our time on Clipper Street's page. Make sure to go back on there and you guys can find the recording on there. So you can always catch them on the replay and pause them and take notes. So tonight we're going to be making 2 cards with lots of layers. So what we used for this Crafty Hour is something different and unusual. So when we saw this box set, I was like, oh my gosh, this box set is packed. It is so much stuff in here. There is so much that we're going to be able to design with. And we were able to offer you this amazing value at a great deal for you guys. So I know a lot of you grabbed 2. One to make this beautiful album with, and it has all the bits, bobs, instructions and stuff to do that. And then one to do Crafty Hour. So what we did is we basically took all the bits and pieces in here and dissected them and turned them into cards. So when you see these kits, you don't always have to stick with what their recommendations are. You can make it your own and do your own thing with it. So what I did for this, I kind of had a plan in my head when I saw this. So in your kit, you guys got this. You got this. So this is how you make the album, guys. This is page 1 of your album. You grab these ephemeras, you grab this background, you layer it here and you layer it here, and that's how you make your pages. And I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same bits and bobs and pieces that they did, and I'm going to kind of lay it generally in a similar way that they did, and I'm going to turn their page into a card. So that's what I did for my cards. So the ones that we're going to do is page 3. I grabbed bits and pieces from page 3. Now, I ended up grabbing more bits and pieces because I felt like it needed more. But you'll kind of see when you look at my card, there's all the bits, bobs, pieces, papers, and kind of the start. You'll see this here. This is kind of laid out very similar to my card. So I use this layout right here kind of in the background to do my card. Then when you come over to this one, I kind of did the same thing. I have those 2 blue pieces laid in here. I have the green piece. I kind of went a different direction with it. I have this word paper. So I kind of did the same thing. I took their layout, their page layout, and turned them into cards. So sometimes we have customers come in and say, they'll look at this album and they'll say, this kit, and say, I'm not a scrapbooker, and they overlook it. That's okay. You don't have to be a scrapbooker. You can make cards with it. You just take the ideas, your inspiration, you twist it, you change it, you make it your own creation. So that's what that was my goal for this box set, was to turn it into something other than a scrapbook layout. So, and same thing. Maybe some of you guys follow the Crafty Hours, and I would say 95% of the Crafty Hours are cards. And maybe some of you guys are like, ooh, Kourtney, I love your card. It's beautiful, but I'm not a card maker. I'm a scrapbooker. That is fabulous. Take this card, take the layout and the ideas that we did, and then turn it into a scrapbook page. So here is kind of your layout, which I have in here. So instead of putting all this ephemera right here, put your photos in here. So same idea. You can change cards into scrapbook pages. You can change scrapbook pages into cards. So don't ever think you need to stick in the box, haha, literally the box, get it, with what they suggested. Kind of make it your own, okay? So we did assign homework for this one because holy cow, were there a lot of die cuts and pieces in this kit. This kit was packed. So we both listed homework, and basically your homework was to grab all your bits and pieces. So the ones we're going to grab first is your homework pieces that had the viewfinder on it. So you're going to grab that pile. That's the pile we're going to work with. And I'm just going to kind of lay all of my bits and pieces to the side right now, and we'll come back to them. Actually, I'm kind of laying them out so I see what I have. So I'm just going to take all my bits and pieces, and I might be off screen here because I'm just going to kind of lay out what I have so I can see what I'm grabbing from. Now, a couple things you will need to do that it looks like I didn't do for my homework, but that's okay, is punch out a couple of these pieces. So we're going to take and just punch these guys out. They punch out very nice, very easily. You can also take your scissors, just be very careful. You can also take your scissors and just snip them. They just have like the little hanging chads. Thank you, Florida. We will never forget that, right? Except pretty soon there's going to be a generation that looks at me like I have a third eye when I say that, right? I think that was junior high time for me. But anyways, so we're going to punch these guys out. And then I'm also going to punch the wire out. And you know what? I might grab some more wire out. I might grab another wire. There was a lot of this wire. I call it chicken wire. But there was a lot of this in that kit, and I thought all of this was fabulous. And then I was like, oh, how are we going to glue this stuff down? But I stapled it. The staple, the little tiny attacher that I used last Crafty Hour, he's going to make a reappearance. Great to staple it. It is also, I used my fine liner on my glue press, and that worked out fabulous too. So actually it wasn't as bad as I thought, because then also when you put some stuff over the top of it, it ended up working out great. So there's that. And you know what? This is all the leftovers. I'm telling you, there is so many leftovers in here. You guys are in for a treat. I'm just going to grab some more because I want a little bit bigger piece. So I'm just going to grab 2 of these, and then we can rip it apart, tear it apart, and make it work, because it's just going to be a layer. It's a layer. Okay, so I'm going to make big cards. We're going to do 6x6 cards. And what I'm basically going to do is what I call card fronts. So we're going to make the card front. This is a card front. And then you can glue it to your card base later. And it's just going to be a 12 by 12 piece of paper cut in half to 6 by 12. And then you'll just score it, and that'll make your 6 by 6 card front. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start with is our pattern paper. Our pattern paper, which, you know what? I grabbed the wrong pattern paper. We're going to use this one, this pattern paper. So it has, I don't know, gray. We're going to cut it 6 by 6. Like I said, we are going big. Go big or go home, they say, right? So we're just going to cut that to 6 by 6. And then we're just going to do a card front. You can add it to your card base later. And There's our measurement. So 6 by 6 for the main piece. And then our next piece is going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay. These pieces I did not end up using, so you can just throw them to the side and use them for later. I hope everybody is part of the Crafty Hour Creations Facebook group. If you're not, make sure to join, because that way you guys can go over there and share your creations, and I cannot wait to see all the extra cards and things that you're going to make with your leftover pieces from this kit, because it is amazing. I felt like these needed a little bit of ink on them just to kind of dirty up the edges. Again, I like to ink the edges of my stuff because it makes the eye stop, and it just kind of gives it that finished edge. I'm using Hickory Smoke. It is a distress ink. You can use Distress Oxide. You can use whatever color you have. If you don't have gray, then use a black. Black would look fabulous too. So I'm just kind of using my blending tool and adding a little bit of Hickory Smoke. I just got a new blendy tool out because my other one was shedding like it had mange or something. And this one isn't quite rocking and rolling yet. The more you use your foam, the more it kind of gets some ink in there, so it doesn't take as much ink each time. And then you can kind of ink better and rock and roll. So I kind of like a dirty foam a little bit better. And I did ink all my embellishments, or all the main ones. Let me clean off that mat. I like my silicone mat because it just wipes right off. Okay. How are we doing, guys? Just quick and easy right now, right? 6 by 6. 6 by 6. Then we're just going to glue that on there. I am gluing this piece flat. I'm just using my liquid glue, and we're just going to glue it. Both of our cards are going to be big cards. We are doing 6 by 6 on both of these. And we're just going to glue her right in the center, kind of equal all the way around it. So we got a little bit of gray that just sets that off really nice. Okay. Then we've got our pieces, and like I said, I'm going to ink all of my pieces. So we've got this piece here, and I'm just going to kind of dirty each one up. Now we're going to work with foam tapes and layer it. I like to use what I call the low and medium foam tape, which is, if you get it in the big old roll of scrapbook adhesive, it's the one I call the 108 and the 54. Deanna loves the 54. That's what she uses all the time. I like the 108 because it's just a little bit lower when you do a lot of layers. I like to do lower ones and mix them in, so it makes it a little bit easier. So those pieces are inked. This guy is going to go on the top. I'm just going to pop a staple in the corner. I like to take these staples and use them as embellishments. I'm just going to do a crisscross applesauce and do that guy right there. And that's it. So this guy is going to go right here along the bottom. And we're going to put foam tape on. Okay? So I'm going to flip them over, and I'm putting what I call the low foam tape. Because we have lots of layers that are going to be going on here, I'm going to go a little bit lower with my foam tape since we have multiple layers going on. I know, right? Sometimes if you do lots of, right, Susan? I like the lower one because sometimes it is a little bit different. I don't know why your kit didn't have a green piece in it, Valerie. There was tons of pieces in there, but if you didn't have a green piece, use a blue piece. My original card has a blue piece, but my card I'm doing now has a green piece because I only had one blue piece in there. Okay, so yours might be different color, but you just want that one. It looks just like that. And this one, let me get a ruler out for you. It's about 2.5 wide by, let's say, 4.5 long, if you count your little tab. Okay. So you might have, if you don't have the green one, grab a blue one. There's a bunch of them you're going to see I kind of subbed colors on because they only had one color in there. So we're just going to kind of put that towards the corner. So I have it equal on the left and bottom. Equal on the left and bottom. Okay. And did I ink him yet? Yes, I did. Then we're going to do the green guy, and same thing. We are going to, let me get rid of the measurements because you guys don't need the measurements anymore. And I'm going to put that guy right here so you can, oops, that was foam tape I just folded in half to throw in the trash. Whoops, I thought it was trash. We're going to take this guy and we're going to foam tape him also. So what I like to do is we only need to put foam tape right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip him over so I can see how far I need to put my foam tape. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a guidance. There were a lot of pieces in this kit. This kit was packed, let me tell you. So I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. I am sure you guys will come above and beyond and kind of take my idea. There are lots of pieces left in there, and there are lots of pages left in there. So do the same thing. Take the same ingredients that they recommend for one of their scrapbook pages and turn it into a card. Okay, so there's that piece there. Now we're going to start doing the magic. Now is when I start doing the tucking and the folding and the magic. So our next piece is going to be this ticket stub. I really like this guy. He was fun. This one was fun. I really wanted to rip it in half and give it a ripped edge too, but then I'm like, no, I kind of want to use the whole piece. So we're going to ink him up, and when we put him on, he's just going to layer in right like this. But I want to be able to tuck things underneath here. So when I put the glue on, we're just going to put the glue right here. Right here. That way the rest of the stuff will lift up and we can sneaky stuff underneath that. Okay, so that's just kind of a little trick. We're just going to put a little bit because it's not going through a hurricane. It doesn't need a gallon of glue on it. We're just going to put it right there, and we're just building our layers, okay? Building our layers. So these two pieces are popped. This guy is flat. Okay, our next thing we're going to grab is this little ticket. I love tickets. I just cannot get enough tickets. They are great just to put in little bits and bops and little areas. And he's going to get glued flat too. He is going to get tucked right in here. So right in there, we're just going to tuck him. Okay. So I'm just going to put some liquid again on the back of him. Kind of lift him up a little bit. And I'm going to have him coming down farther than that piece. So then he's just layered in just like that. Okay, just layering them in. How's everybody doing so far? Are we doing good? It's all about just layering. I just keep checking to see where I put my pop dots and stuff. Okay, our next piece is this guy. I love these things. I wanted to keep some of my pieces in it. I didn't like it with all of them out, but I didn't want all of them in. So what I did is I punched some of them out, and then I put a piece of Scotch tape on the backside to hold them in so they didn't fall out. So that's kind of what I did to mine. I put some Scotch tape on there. So he's going to get popped, and he's going to go right in this area here. So we're going to kind of see some stuff showing through. He's kind of hanging off the edge. And we're going to put pop on the back of him. And I'm going to put my higher pop dots because now we're starting to build layers and stuff. So I'm going to put my higher pop dots. I'm going to put one right in the center. Okay. And he's going to go right in like that. But I think I want it right there. Okay, so I'm just going to lift him up, peel the pop off, and oops, nope, sorry. I do notice I missed one more layer. I'm going to pop him off really quick because he only had one pop dot. Sorry, I forgot this layer. We got to put this guy on. One more, sorry. One more. He'll be easier to put down now versus we could still, if you put that pop dot down, you're okay because this guy will still tucky underneath there. You can still tucky it. And then I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to do a little decorative. we're going to take our stapler and just do a crisscross. And I love using these staples as embellishments. Aren't they fun? Okay. And then this guy is going to be flat also, and he's just going in here like this. Just like that. So I'm just going to add liquid to the back. Liquid to the back. I love viewfinders. It brings back memories, but it also is a cool shape. Because if you guys know me, you know I love circles. I love circles. I love designing and playing with circles. So of course I love viewfinders. Okay, then we're going to put that guy on. Grab out your washi tape. There was washi tape, a roll of washi tape in this kit too. How fabulous is that? I love to kind of rip and tear washi tapes. So we're going to grab that out. And this is probably the point I want to peekaboo this guy. Because when we start putting layers on top, this will hold him down. Okay, so there's that guy there. And I'm just going to spot check a little bit of glue, kind of here and there. A little bit here and there. And that'll kind of just spot check and kind of hold it down. So we'll just kind of put him in there. I loved these chicken wire pieces. Are they not like fabulous? Okay, so that's holding. And then what I love to do with washi tape is just rip it and make it look like a layer. So I'm going to go in and just rip the edge. And I'm going to go right here on the edge of that number and go across that chicken wire. So that's going to help hold it down too. Okay? Okay, how are we doing? I know we got lots of layers here. Isn't that fun? Okay, now we can put our spinner on. Now we can put our little viewfinder on. Okay, there we go. Now we're all good. We got our washi tape, we got our decorative staples, we've got tickets and tags. This is where we have lions and tigers and bears, oh my. So there's all those. Then we have this little thing here, the little postcard. Let me add a little bit on him. So he's going to kind of be our focal point. That's going to go in like right there. He's our focal point. And what we're going to do is that's where we're going to put our sentiment. But also, this is where we're going to tuck everything. So we're going to tuck all these bits and pieces kind of in and behind this little card. And did I pop mine? Does not look like it. Well, we'll figure that out when we get there. I think they're all just layered in top. Okay, this is the thing when you design it and try to go back. So the biggest thing we're going to start with now, from this point on, I didn't ink these laser cuts because that's just crazy talk. So this guy is going to kind of go in like that. I love it. So I'm going to pull this out, take my glue, and I'm just going to go in and spot check it in a couple spots. Okay, spot check it in a couple spots. Now these guys here, I did put a little bitty baby pop dot behind it because I felt like he was very dainty and I didn't want his head to get ripped off. So I did put, whoops, put it on straighter than I did. A little pop dot right there to kind of hold him up. You could put a pop dot. I'm going to put a half a pop dot behind this one too, just to kind of help hold it and keep it from ripping off. And it likes to add a little dimension. I love to take my embellishments and have part of it popped and part of it flat. I feel like it just builds a little bit more interest. Okay, then I'm going to put a little bit of glue in behind this guy, and I think we should be good. I think he's going to stay put now. He should stay put. So then our little card Kind of goes back on there. That looks fabulous. I like what we got going so far. Then we got our big, I don't even know what to call these things. The big green thing. Big green thing is going to go right in here. And we're just going to tuck it. And I kind of love to run my things off the edge of my card. Love it. So I'm just going to tuck them, and I wanted his pieces to kind of hang over a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue now behind my postage, right where my finger is, to kind of help hold that down, because that's kind of done tucking there. And then I'm going to spot check this guy. We're going to spot check him too, so he stays put. A little bit on the back of that. And then these two pieces, I'm going to pop them. Okay? Those two pieces are going to get popped. That guy doesn't want to be glued flat. You stay down there and glue. Okay, so I'm going to put a pop dot on the back of each of these leaves. And that'll help hold them down. And I'm okay with them running off my card. I personally love to run stuff off the edge of my card. Again, I don't stay in a box. I like to go outside of the box. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of glue behind this leaf. Kind of help hold him down, set my block on. I don't have time to wait for glue to dry. Okay, so he's drying. Our next piece we're going to grab is this guy. Just kind of a portion of one. And again, we're going to tucky him. So he's just going to kind of get tucked in over here in the corner, overlapping the flowers. I like to, whatever I do on the left, it's kind of going up on the right. So I got green down here. I got to have green going up there. Okay. So again, just kind of spot check it. And that'll hold them down. And you could totally use glue dots. That's where Jennifer had used glue dots to kind of help assist hers in not having to wait for the glue to dry. Could totally do that too. I'm going to put a glue dot behind this guy. Sometimes if they're very gentle or very wiggly, I'm like, ooh, I better put a glue dot on it or a pop dot just to kind of help hold it so it doesn't take off or get ripped off, I guess is more of the words. Not really take off, but doesn't rip off. Okay, how's everybody doing? We got lots of layers. I hope you guys like your layers. Okay, so there's that guy. What we have left, we're almost there. We've got this guy, our last little fence piece, and he's going to kind of get tucked in behind this blue tag. Okay, so I think I can still fit him in there. Yeah, he's going to be perfect just like that. So what I'm going to do is, again, kind of take my glue and just randomly, very lightly spot check it here and there. And what we can also do is pop a staple in it, which is cute, but also functional to help hold that down. Trying to grab the piece that didn't have glue on it. So we're going to lift and tuck. Don't you wish it was that easy? Lift and tuck. And the Nuvo glue does dry clear, so if I get a couple blops there, we're okay. We're good with it. Then you have 2 of these flowers left. We're going to tuck one at the top, tuck one in here, and then we're going to tuck one in the bottom. I'm going to put a little foamer, kind of on the larger flower, just to give them a little bit of lift. And I'll put some liquid on the other just to kind of help hold it down. And then that's going to get tucked in behind there. I felt like I had a lot of white here, so I needed some more white over here. And kind of same story down here. There was a lot of green, so I felt like I needed to add, there we go, we're just going to put liquid on that. I feel like I needed to add a little bit more white down there also. Okay, so we'll just tuck the white in. Okay, how's everybody doing? Good? And then now we can glue. I'm going to put some glue under the rest of this, because now we are done tucking. Done tucking. Okay, that leaves us 2 butterflies and a sentiment. Mine I have is time captured because I already used the other one, but that one is best ever. Yes, Susan, there's only 1 blue piece in there. So there's a blue one on my original, and then I put a green one on this one because there was only 1 blue one in there. Okay, so I'm going to put time captured on there, and I'm going to glue it down flat. If you want to use best ever, use best ever. It's whatever you want to use. I love this kit because it had a lot of pieces that were the same size and or shape. So a lot of times when I'm designing, I go with the shapes. And like I said, there was 1 blue one, 1 green one, no problem. At least we have the same shape, so we can still complete the same idea. Same thing for the sentiments. There were some that were kind of the same size, so we went with those. Okay, and then we're going to put our butterflies on, and I might, nope, I'm still going to put him on. I was like, I might switch my butterflies depending on my sentiment, but that one still fits really nicely in there. And then my yellow one, we're going to put down here. And then, of course, let's put a foam on him too. Woo, look at that. Only 3 minutes over. And because I talked a lot at the beginning, right? Wanted to kind of tell you my design process, my process of what I was doing. Okay, so we are doing good on time. All right. We will come back and do the black splat later because I'll make a mess once because I splat on both of them. There you go. How pretty does that look, guys? Is that not gorgeous? So there's the same card, a little bit 2 different versions. Here's a clean one, and then here's the splats. We will do the splats. I'll show you how I did that at the very end. I did black splats. You could, of course, do gold or silver. Silver would be beautiful with these, but there is my card. So let me move him out of the way, and let me get a drink of water, and we will start on card number 2. Card number 2. Okay, we got all our pieces again. So the pattern paper we're using on this one has the beautiful flowers on it. And then again, we have all those pieces that I showed you guys to cut from your homework. And here's the card we're going to be doing. I love the yellow flowers. I thought those were just stunning in this set on those. Okay, so there's our pieces. Hey, I just realized. Yep, these are 2 different sizes too. So when you're doing that, you'll notice these guys are 2 different sizes. Okay, then we have these guys, which are very large. Those will be our first pieces we work with. Let me put all of my little things out while you guys are collecting. This was all in the homework to kind of grab these guys and hunt for them. for your homework to pull them all out because there were a lot of pieces. I had this in my pile, but it looks like I didn't actually use that piece. So let me throw those out of the way. And then let me punch these guys out too while we're just talking and you guys are kind of laying your pieces out. So tomorrow we will go live with the next Crafty Hour. It's Crafty Hour 57. Nope, 67. 60. We're in the 60s. 67. And it will be me and Deanna doing the next Crafty Hour. And if you guys love the style of this one, then you are going to love tomorrow's announcement. They are in store right now. They are in store, in stock. They are ready to be shipped. They're ready for pickup pretty quick. And since they're in store, that means we can't get any more. So don't delay in getting signed up because when they are gone, they are gone. So I will be taking over Clipper Street's Facebook page tomorrow, and I will show you the full reveal of tomorrow's Crafty Hour announcement. So that will be 11 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Pacific. These guys are a little tedious to get out, but I don't want to rip them. But gosh, I love these things. And these are laser cuts, guys. And this is why I love laser cuts, because look at the little bit of detail in these. There is no way an electronic machine could ever cut this clean and that small without mutilating stuff. Isn't that beautiful? Gosh, I just love that. Okay, there's your pieces. So again, we're going to do our big piece at 6 by 6. So 6 by 6 for our big piece. We're going to kind of do the same recipe that we did on the other one. We're going to cut our big one 6 by 6, and we're going to cut our white one 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So again, we're doing a card front, and then that way you guys can just add it to a card base later. And then I am going to ink the edges again of my larger embellishments and my tags with my hickory smoke. Hickory smoke. Hickory smoke is an underrated ink. I really like it. It just matches everything. Sometimes black is just too dark and not everything needs to be brown. So hickory smoke is that happy ink. It's that happy, it's a sleeper cell. It's a sleeper ink. Anybody joining us for the first time for Crafty Hour? Is this anybody's first Crafty Hour? Guys are in for treats. Okay, there's that one. Then we're just going to do the white one. Give it a little bit of gray. Just wonder if we had anybody new, because then they'd be like, what in the world is she talking about? What in the world? And so our Crafty Hours, we love to mix them up. We like to pick different vendors, different designers. Deanna has a fabulous team, and everybody in her team has a different style. So it's always fun to see the different interpretations and the different designs and styles that the us designers come up with. So you get completely different looks out of the same kit by the two different designers. Okay, so we've got that. We are just going to glue that right to the center. Oh, Loretta! Yay, we do have a newbie. Welcome to Crafty Hour. Okay, so we're just going to glue that down and glue it right in the center. With equal all the way. Yes, I love Jen's card this morning too, Star. I am going to have to go back and do that. I love the fun fold. That looks so fun and fabulous. I'm definitely going to go back. Okay, there's that piece. That's our starter piece. Our next piece is going to be the one with all the words on it. Might have to kick up my pace just a notch So I get done in an hour, but you know what? This one doesn't have as many laser cuts on it, so we might be okay. We might be okay. Okay, so we're going to do that guy. This one is going to get glued flat. The words is going to get glued flat. And this one is pretty large, so it's going to kind of go top to bottom. So we're going to come in just a little bit, leave a little bit of white at the edge, and we're just going to kind of center it on that. So we have a little bit poking off the top and a little bit poking off the bottom. Okay? And then we've got this piece. This one's gray. The one on my original card is green. Okay? So you'll kind of notice there's a little bit different colors because there was only one of that one in there. That's okay. Again, it has the same shape. The die cuts had the same shape, just a different tone of color. But everything in this kit was just fabulous. It was beautiful. Beautiful and so fun to play with. And that's kind of why I went with the redesigning their page bits and pieces into a card, because there were so many bits and pieces. I was like, how do I even begin and narrow it down on what to use? No, right? Okay, so I got my little hanging, I'm going to call that a little bump, little wart kind of thing. He's going at the top. So this piece is also going to get glued flat. Okay, this one's going flat also. And when I could do it, I'm going to come over about to where the H is. About where the H is. And that's about how far I'm coming over. There's an H right there on the words. Okay, so right to the H. Okay, your next two pieces are these guys. Remember, one of them's bigger than the other. The bigger one is going to go on the bottom. I think my ink pad's about time to be re-inked. And when we place these down, I'm going to do a little bit of a trick on this one, because I do want it to be in a certain place. So I'm going to kind of lay the skinny one up first, and then lay my bigger one at the bottom. And I wanted to cover a good majority of the card. I liked this guy kind of shifted. Oh, shift. Kind of shift him to the right. Shift him to the right. And then this guy, I kind of liked him over here. Shifted to the left. And then see how they're overlapping just a little bit. Not a whole lot. But we're going to overlap them just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is put just a bead of glue right across the top of the big one. And then I'm going to glue them to each other. Just kind of glue them to each other. Not gluing it to the card yet, just to each other. So that's what it's going to give me my proper placement of what I liked. And then we're going to flip the whole thing over and do the low foam tape on this one. Low foam tape. And I like the black and the white in the foam tape, because sometimes one is better than the other. With this one, I liked the black because everything was kind of darker, and I felt like if it kind of did show somewhere, the black would show less than the white. Because sometimes people ask, why do you use black or why do you use white? It's just kind of a preference. If I feel like the things are darker and you might see something, then I go with black. If everything's bright and white and clean, then I go with the white, just in case you would see it. Okay, so that whole piece gets foam on there, and then we're going to layer right back on here. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. Everybody good? Okay, so I'm going to bring my card in so I can figure out what we're doing here. What I did is I actually built my cluster first, and then I tuckied the stuff in and around it. So I kind of did it backwards. I did pop some staples up here again. I just love There's something about a little tiny attacher. And look at this. There's 1, 2, 3 pieces of heavy cardstock on here. Did you hear that? Goes through it like butter. Not even a challenge for Mr. Tim Holtz. Goes through it like butter. Butter. Butter, butter. Okay. Oh, I don't have a sentiment. Uh-oh. Let me look for a sentiment. This one's about the same size, so I'm going to do Sweet Moment. Realized I didn't have a sentiment. So our sentiment's going to go on here. And we're going to do all of our tucking and stuff in here. So this one is kind of where I use my press and seal. I start tucking and everything, I flip it, and then that's where I do my positioning. So what we're going to kind of start with is, gosh, I just build the layers. So we're going to go in with this guy first. Actually, we're going to go in with our yellows first. So I go in with my yellows, and we're going to kind of play with them. And I did see that I also have some more of these guys in here. So before we start tucking, I'm just going to add these guys on, because all the stuff that we tuck and put on top of it will also help these stay put. Will help them, stay put a little bit. Okay, so, and the wire, it doesn't matter. All these wires are just random sizes, random pieces. They're just going to kind of poke out around the edges. So it doesn't have to be exact. It does not have to be exact. So I'm going to put that one up there. Then we have the flower. So this one is facing this way. And then we've got our other flower, and we're just going to kind of lay the flower in, kind of at a fun angle. Again, no right or wrong. Kind of lay them like that. I like it. And then we're going to take our leaves, and let's see what we got here. This one I put in here. So I kind of crisscrossed in on the stems. Okay. Crisscross on the stems. And then let's go in, and we've got this guy. We're going to kind of run him down. And you can wiggle this stuff later. So once we put our sweet on, yeah, see, I like how that's going. And then we're going to tuck. We got a green leaf left. We're going to tuck him in behind here. I like it. Okay, so that's what I like. This is my trick now of press and seal. I have everything the way I have it. I like where everybody is. Now we want to freeze them. So I'm going to take my press and seal, and I'm going to press right on top of it. So what it's going to do is it's going to hold everybody put. Nobody's going to move, and we're going to be able to tuck and add these things easily on here. We're going to take it and flip it. And I'm going to basically take my liquid glue, and I'm going to lift some pieces here and there, and I'm going to glue the pieces together. So that way they are kind of attached to each other. Then we're going to go in with our foam and pop the whole thing. So we're just kind of spot checking, making sure everybody's kind of married. We're just kind of marrying everybody, make sure they're together. One happy little family. Press and seal can be found in the aisle with the saran wrap and stuff. I love to use press and seal. I love to use parchment paper. Okay, so the big leaf, we're going to put a pop dot on the big leaves. I'm not going to put pop down on the bottom portion because I want it to lay flat. So the stuff on the top will get popped. The stuff down towards the bottom will get glued flat. Okay? So my pops are kind of, let me flip it. So that's my top. So everything at the top kind of has your pop dots. The stuff on the bottom is going to get glued flat. Okay? And I'm not gluing it flat, putting the glue on yet, because we still have to tuck behind our chicken wire. We got some more chicken wire we got to add. Okay, so I'm going to peel these off. What I did when I was kind of doing the kit too, Valerie, I sorted my kit by pieces and shapes. So everything that was this shape, I put in a pile. All of these tags, I put in a pile. Everything that was this shape, maybe I have 4 different colors, I put them in a pile. So that's kind of how I started with what was piles of mates, piles of matching pieces. Okay, then we're going to go in and kind of figure out where we want to position that, and we'll press. Okay, so we're going to press her on and then gently peel her back, and our guy should stay. Might have to go spot check some glue in the top, but stay pretty solid. Look at that. Is that not an awesome trick? Awesome trick. How are we doing on time? Ooh, we might go over just a hair, but I promise it's just a hair of your time, guys, because I do want to show you how to do the splats. So then I'm going to cut this guy off. Because I have chicken wire up here, you got to have some chicken wire down in here somewhere. Kind of sticking out like that. I love it. So let me put a little bit of glue on the back. And by putting pop dots on that back portion piece and kind of keeping the pop dots kind of in the center, this is what allows you to kind of tuck things underneath too, because not everything's glued permanently. So it gives you capability to kind of tucky some stuff. Okay, I feel like this guy right here is wiggling. So he needs some glue to kind of glue him down. The whole thing took off. Okay, and remember, we still have tickets. So we have 3 tickets that we still have to add. Got 3 tickets to add still. I'm going to put a little foam right behind like that E and the T in there. So that whole thing, I might have to get my pokey tool to sneak it in there. Sometimes this is what I'll do to sneak things in. I'll stick it to my, well, it wants to stick to my finger, to my pokey tool, and then that way you can kind of lift and sneak it in, just like that. Okay, we are good. I'm going to put some liquid on these leaves to kind of help hold them down, because that's where we want them. Okay. How's everybody doing? Do you like it? Do you like the project? Do you like the cards? Okay, so this tag is going up here, and we're just going to kind of poke it in behind in here. You know what? There's a pop dot right there that needs to be lifted. That way he can fit behind there. So don't be afraid to peel things back up if you need to. Give it a little lift. Because I want the tag to look like it was meant to tuck in there, not like it was an afterthought and added later. Oops. Go. And then again, I took that washi tape and I just ripped a little piece, just a little bit, and I taped it right on there, again, to make it look like a layer, and then it's holding that piece in. Okay, there you go. Okay, then we have these two little tickets down here still. Let me add a little ink to them. And I love these tickets that they have lots of different shapes in them. Lots of different shapes, so you can really layer them in really nice. One of them's going to go there, and then the other one's going to go on top. And this we will do liquid glue on also. I hope you guys are enjoying the crafty hours, because for some of you that are new, kind of the whole concept that we had was it only takes an hour. We wanted to do something because we know sometimes we want to get crafty and we don't always have 2 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours to do a class. So the whole idea of crafty hour was it's going to be quick, easy, simple, and an hour. We can always take an hour out of our time to try to do something crafty. They don't always have to be 6-hour cards. So that was kind of the idea with crafty hour, is it's only an hour. Okay, I'm going to add my butterfly and I'm going to pop it. I love the butterflies in this set. There were so many pretty ones in here. Go. And then we've got a yellow flower that we will then kind of add in here too. Okay, and that is it. That is the card. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my splats. I love splats. I love mixed media. I love art journaling. And I feel like, to me, splats just sometimes kind of complete a card. So here's the one with splats. If you don't want splats, then keep it clean. Right? Okay, keep it clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my splat box. Kind of helps me keep contained, but not always. And I'm going to do it a little bit different. Let me make sure my splat box is in the camera. I'm going to take my card and I'm going to lay it there. Oh, I forgot to grab some water. Let me just use my drinking water. Need some water. So what I'm going to use for this one is, like I said, I love to do splats, and I use the acrylic paints. I use my acrylic inks. I use the bottles of the acrylic inks, which are fabulous, but you can't really travel with them. So what you can travel with is the Neocolor 2s. I follow Katie Purdy, and she gave me this idea on how to do splats with my Neocolors. And I was like, oh my God, now I can travel with my splats. So what I'm going to do is I'm just taking a paintbrush and making it really wet. Making it really wet. Okay? And I'm just going to take it and I am just thumbing over. Whoops. Let me get it going. I got to get it wet first. Just kind of thumbing over there we go, my crayon. And that is going to give me my splats. The wetter you have it, the larger the splats you're going to get. Ooh, look at that one. I like that one. And then, yeah, so there is how I did my black splats. Got a little too much black on that, so I'm just going to wipe my finger on it because that'll come right off. There you go. So that is using the Neocolor 2s. Let me get my other one. To create your black splats. And I'm just kind of thumbing it over it. And when I do my splats, I don't do the whole card. If you notice, I'm kind of doing the top right corner and the bottom left corner. So I'm going across my card. I don't always do the whole thing on that. And I do not know. I would say give it a try. It'll go one of two ways. I do not know if this technique will work with the Tim Holtz Distress crayons. I'm not sure if they might be waxier, but give it a try. Definitely give them a try. I personally was not a fan of the crayons. I just couldn't ever get them to work the way I liked them. And I like to do more watercoloring, and to me they just didn't work for watercoloring. Okay, make sure my brush is clean. And then there is my splats on that one. So there is Crafty Hour 65. Can't get the number straight, 65. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and joining us for another Crafty Hour. Make sure to that you're a member of the Crafty Hour Creations private Facebook group so you guys can post your creations over there. I love to see what you guys create, what you guys use with your leftovers. I was reading comments. What you guys use with your leftovers, and what you do exactly, or maybe what you did to make it your own. So please feel free to post your cards over there. And then don't forget, the next Crafty Hour Creations, our Crafty Hour kit number 67, I think we're on, will go live tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central and 9 o'clock Pacific. We will be on plugging the links, so please follow the links to register. Our kits are in store now and they are ready to go, so we will be shipping immediately and ready for pickup pretty quick. So thank you, everybody. Have a fabulous night, and as always, happy crafting. Bye-bye.